What's going on, everyone? Byrdman here with another Destiny 2 video, and today I want to talk about the Glaive and the exact melee components that are built around this weapon. Whenever this was announced, I think that everyone was pretty excited to have a mid-range to melee style weapon be introduced that wasn't just like a sword. You were able to do projections while also defending. It's kind of a jack of all trades weapon, but after some testing and working around with this weapon, I have realized that it isn't exactly as it seems. Now, when I mention that, I mainly am talking about the melee aspect of this weapon. First off, things that the melee does help boost is going to be stuff from your artifacts, such as the suppressive glaive, where hitting an enemy or shooting them will suppress them, not making them be able to use their abilities or shoot, which is really awesome all around. And then also feeds into suppressive darkness, where suppressing an enemy will weaken them as well. I haven't been able to test that part out yet, but just from how things are interacting so far, I'm guessing this is something that will synergize pretty well, which then leads into your Void 3.0 fragment slots, such as the Echo of Domineering, where suppressing an enemy will give you extra mobility, as well as the Echo of Leeching, where it's going to give you an ally's health. So at least we are getting a plus out of that for the melee aspect of this weapon, but when it comes to everything else, it just doesn't work. Things that are not going to work with the melee aspect of this weapon is going to be things like melee Wellmaker. You aren't able to get a powered melee from this weapon. It just kind of does the swinging animation instead, so you're never able to use like your shoulder charge or your throwing shield, at least if you're a Titan. It just doesn't really work out that way, unfortunately, which is kind of disappointing. As well as elemental armaments and font of might. Now, these will be activated if you shoot the glaive, use the shooting mechanic on it, but for the melee aspect of it, it will never proc. The only thing that it will ever really be affected by is things like weapons of light or like your well. That boost will boost up the melee aspect of it, but that's just because it's boosting weapon damage rather than your actual melee itself. As well as we need to look at things like, especially for the Titan, that involve melee, such as the Doomfang Pauldrons, the Worm God Kerases, and the Synthoceps, all their applicable perks, where you normally are supposed to get some type of boost from doing melee or getting a boost to your melee, and it just does not affect it. Right here, I actually am testing out the Doomfangs to see if I'm getting any extra energy from that, and I'm just not getting that. So it's kind of disappointing to see this. I do see a good plus, though, is the fact that at least on the Hunter, being able to do those melees, you're able to go constantly invisible. So I think Hunters are going to get a big boost out of this. But unfortunately for Titans, and I don't believe the Warlocks, you're going to be able to really use this weapon to, I would say, its fullest extent. Again, shooting the Glaive will give you plenty of that energy. But unfortunately, when it comes to the actual melee aspect, which I think is like the coolest part of it, it's just not going to proc any of those things. So a little disappointed, but at the same time, it's kind of still OP, man. I mean, the fact that you're able to run up and just, especially if you have suppressive glaive on, just completely nullify an enemy is absolutely insane. Also, if we add on to the weakness aspect of it, and also things within the actual glaive itself, where you are dampening the damage of those enemies, it's pretty awesome. I think this is something that I'm going to take into day one raid, just because it's so cracked so far. Now, I know you guys can follow me over on YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch at Byrdman778. Use code BYRD at G Fuel checkout for 10% off. Make sure you're checking out my Twitter, just because sometimes we do 30% off code instead. So just make sure you're staying up to date on all those things. We're going to be having some more videos for Destiny coming out here in the next few days, so just be on the lookout. Guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you have a great night, day, or whatever it may be.